Good afternoon, Dan. It is 4 p.m. for you, so I'd like to start off by asking you, how was your day?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ruckus. It's been good. It's been good. I've had a couple of tasks, some free value to send to a client, been to the gym, a pretty big project I'm working on with a client now. So I've sent him a proposal for that.
hmm And in terms of the project, let's get straight into it. What is that about?
Yeah, so it's actually my first client that I signed back in December. I'd done a project for him. We'd been back and forth, but we've actually been discussing a revenue share deal where I handle all the marketing for him. Going to build out like a webinar funnel and help him sell his high ticket coaching.
hmm
They're pretty expensive, so we're just trying to work out the details of that, but should be a very good deal, let's say at that.
Okay. And since you have a history with him, how much have you earned from that one client?
At the moment with this client, only 500. For the initial project I'd done for him, it was so he didn't really have a funnel built out. It was like a landing page. I helped him build like a lead magnet and a couple of emails, like an email sequence. But since then, we've just been back and forth about how to really help him grow and scale, and what the next steps are for him to really, take his sales up with the high ticket coaching. And we've only really just come to terms with this project now.
Okay, fair. So, how have things scaled for you since getting that first client? Because I know in the Copywriting Wins channel, I saw a lot more wins for you from you.
Yeah, yeah. So after that first client, and it was good because I'd learned a lot. Although it was just the landing page and a couple of emails, there was a lot of back and forth. Just really trying to tweak things to his needs, and I learned quite a lot there. So since then, I've had quite a few wins. I'm currently working with three clients, and then I've got obviously the fourth once we've worked out this deal, this rev share deal. And I also had an extra client in Jan, so definitely I've got a consistent stream now of clients coming in.
Good, good. So, in terms of income, are you comfortable revealing figures?
Yeah, so obviously had that first client 500 for that month. January I didn't do too much, but really this month I signed a big client, had a $1,400 win, but he was quite a big player in the industry. Like basically everyone in my industry knows who he is. So I've been able to leverage that testimonial really, and I'm up 3,500 for this month, and yeah.
Very nice. Congratulations. So, when you first joined the real world, did you expect that within 1 month you'd be at 3,500? Did you have other expectations?
My expectations. So I definitely didn't expect to have been able to hit that kind of target so soon. Um, I thought I'd learn a little bit. I thought maybe take me 6 months. To be honest, I thought it would probably take me maybe 6 months to a year to start making even just say 2,000 kind of dollars a month. But it really has skyrocketed quite quickly. I think since that client.
Right. Good. That's great to hear. And what made you decide to take that step to join the real world?
Right. So it's an interesting story. I actually used to do drop shipping, like retail arbitrage. That was my first kind of taste of the online world. Um, I didn't find it as engaging. I had some success with it, but I was really looking for something that would be more interesting, something I could be more engaged with. So I actually started learning copywriting on my own. I was also working a sales job, and I'd looked into ways to help me increase sales. So I'd seen, oh, there's this copywriting thing. And I was like, okay, maybe because I was doing a lot of cold calls at the time. It was like we were doing like 80 plus cold calls a day, and I was like, there must be a better way to sign prospects. There must be a better way to find clients. So I looked into copywriting, and I was just going to use it for like cold email, maybe to create some kind of website where I could draw in clients. And I've not really seen much success. I was just trying to piece things together myself. Um, I ended up leaving that job, but I really was quite interested with copywriting. So I wanted to find like some kind of mentorship because trying to piece things together myself, I wasn't having much success. I wanted to find a mentorship, someone to kind of guide me step by step. And I saw the, to be honest, it was the price of the real world. I just thought for $50, which, I'm in the UK, so it was like £42, which is like the price of a meal with my girlfriend or something. I thought just to even have the opportunity to learn, what am I really losing? Because initially I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't want to sure if I want to buy this course. This one's a bit expensive. There was some for like $500, but I just thought I really got nothing to lose. So yeah, I purchased it. First month I went through the boot camp, and honestly, I was really surprised at the content in the boot camp for the amount that we were paying. It really changed my perception and my outlook on copywriting. So initially, I just thought, yeah, copywriting's cool. We could use it as an easier way to sign clients. But once you start getting into the material that Andrew teaches in the campus, you really start to understand it's much more than that. About understanding psychology, human dynamics, understanding how to map out problems. Understanding how to create something content that really resonates with people at the deepest part of their subconscious. And it's like you really start getting into that, and it's like you just start seeing things in a different way. You start thinking in a different way, and from there it was that's really when things changed for me.
Right. What you were just describing is interesting because people say, oh, you have AI now to write copy for you, but AI is too general. It can't tap into what you were just saying.
Exactly. I mean, if you're like want to be like a third-rate copywriter, because you do get some that just write very generic copy, maybe AI is an issue for you. But with the way Andrew teaches things, like he's really trying to develop us into top-level copywriters. That again, being able to write and create phrases, sentences that really they create experiences in people's minds and sensory experiences. You paint pictures in people's heads. You speak to them in a way that moves them emotionally. And AI is way, way, way off that. I'm sure you use ChatGPT. You see the things that come out. It's not, it's not enough to replace high level copywriters, I don't think.
Right. And it's with the emotional side of the brain that people buy, not the logical. So you need to tap into that, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And now I'm wondering, how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the real world?
Yeah, it's night and day difference. So again, the things Andrew teaches, it's not just about writing copy. Again, about understanding problems, about understanding human dynamics, about understanding how to map them out. You also learn more about your own psychology and why you do things, and it completely changed the way I attack my day, the way I see my time, my intention with things. Learning how to really manage your time in a way where you're getting the most out of what you want. Before when I was doing some dropshipping stuff, I wasn't really disciplined, to be honest. Maybe I'd make some money, maybe I'd go out, I'd party a bit. I would not really be that great with managing my money and just a lot of things like that. But really the guidance and the lessons that I think I've learned in the real world, not just from Andrew, but even from Arno about managing your money and your finances, my day to day is very different. So I'll get up early. I get up at about these days, 4:30 to 5. I'll go on a run. I'll do some reading, non-copywriting related reading. From there, I'll start working on fulfilling for my clients. I'll normally block schedule that out. So, I'll put maybe an hour and a half to do that, take a little break, either go work out, come back, do some prospecting. And I just really schedule my day like that and, make sure that I'm doing things that are moving the needle in the direction I want, as opposed to before when I was just, I knew I wanted to be successful, but I didn't really have the map to do it. So now I'm really structuring my day in a way that's going to maximize success for the things I want.
Good. And in terms of waking up so early and doing so much, what would you say to people who call that excessive? Maybe you need to relax more, is what they say.
I'm glad you actually brought that question up because that was a really big thing for me. So before, I joined the campus, whenever I'll try and, maybe start getting into those routines or doing something like that, again, yeah, people would say, "Oh, you're extreme. You need to chill. You need to relax." But and I'd sometimes give into it because I didn't really have a community around me of like-minded people. But being in the real world around other people who want the same things as you realize actually you're not excessive, you're not extreme. You want something in life. You want something higher in life. And so to them, I just say, you know, if you think getting up that early or doing some of these things is extreme, that's cool if you want to live the life you want. But for the things I want in life, or for the things some people want in life, extreme actions, extreme results.
Right. Well put. And this goes back to something that comes up a lot during these interviews. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So when you had people around you who were telling you to relax, that's what you're doing. Now you're surrounded by winners, and look at you, 3,500 a month. And who knows what that is going to scale to. So speaking of which, where do you see your life heading in 6 months to 1 year?
Like I said, things have changed. Like I said, since having this month that I've had now, especially with the rev share deal coming up, my expectations have changed. I'm sure by next month the target is to at least hit 5K, especially as I level up some of the clients I'm currently working with. By the end of the year, I feel like I could hit 15K, and ideally I'd like to go and also do some traveling and just see where things take me.
All right, good. And who knows, maybe that 15K is a conservative figure. So we'll have to see.
Definitely. I mean, there's one thing, because that's another great thing, actually, the fact that you can speak to Professor Andrew. I'd been talking to him about this deal. Obviously, I wanted to structure it correctly because, the high ticket coaching he's selling, he's selling some of these for like 5 to 10K. So if we can really help him move units, then, very, very, very profitable potentially. So Andrew had actually said to me, these are the type of deals, if you structure them correctly, could make you 6-7 figures, which kind of blew my mind even just thinking about that. But yeah, who knows where that will go.
I hope everything turns out very well. I know hope isn't a very reliable factor, but I'm sure you'll put in the work to make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, now, how did the Wins channel affect you when you first joined?
The Wins channel is good. It makes things feel a bit more real. When you see people every single day posting their wins, especially if you're a competitive person, it just, especially if you're a competitive person and maybe you're also going through a bit of a dry streak, it just lets you know that no, people are making money here. There's something you're not doing correctly. Get on it.
Right, agreed. And when you first started out with copywriting, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced?
The biggest challenge I faced, to be honest with you, I'd say it was the belief. The idea that you can, because although I'd said before I'd been, looking up copywriting, studying it, I hadn't made any money and I hadn't really got anywhere. And the idea that you could get paid thousands and thousands for writing, sometimes up to 150 words, per email for a couple of emails or a couple of Twitter posts, the fact that someone would actually pay you that money, it didn't really seem real to me. So I definitely think the belief, but once, you got that first client, you've actually had the money land in your account, you've produced, it's like, wow, this is actually real.
Right. And yeah, again, something you hear about a lot. It's hard to believe at first that someone would just send you money over the internet to like write something for them. Kind of weird. I don't know. How will I get that client? Like, how's this going to happen? But then once you actually do get it, it just starts scaling exponentially after, as you can see in your case.
Exactly. And like you said there as well, will I get that client? What happens then? That's another thing as well, that it can be scary in terms of actually thinking, right, I've landed this client. I actually now need to produce for them. But that's another thing Andrew talks about. He's like, you just have to outwork your doubt. And, if you're putting in the work and you're putting in the hours, you don't really have time to be in your head worrying about what happens because you're actually working. So, yeah.
Agreed. Now, maybe something you'd like to think about before answering, or maybe you'll have the answer straight away. What have been the 3 biggest lessons you've learned from your time in the real world?
The 3 biggest lessons. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, and Andrew talks about this, Tate talks about this, the copywriting professor talks about this, Arno also talks about this in the personal finance, and speed, doing things with speed. I used to be someone that would kind of dilly dally with things, "Oh, I'll get back to you next week," or "Yeah, we'll see," and just, taking your time. But, in this world, you've got to be quick and you've got to execute quick and you've got to get back to people quick. And when you act with speed, you really can start to get momentum. So that's just as a life lesson in general. I think acting with speed has been one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Um, Another one of the biggest lessons I've learned is how to really manage your time effectively to get the most out of your day. They teach a lot about like Parkinson's law and leveraging these concepts to actually maximize your time throughout the day. Initially, it wasn't as big a thing, but now that I'm working with multiple clients and you know organizing that and getting the most out of it has been really important to me. And another lesson, big one I've learned is just I'd say about understanding how to map out problems, not just for clients, but even just for yourself. Maybe certain things that I was stuck with in life, you start to realize actually you can apply those same frameworks to yourself and understand why you're stuck in certain positions or why you're not making progress. So, really understanding how to map out problems effectively has been a big one as well.
Interesting. Okay. So to add on to the first point, it is rare in these times to have people who work fast with speed. Usually things take so long to deliver, to do. So being someone who acts with speed is such a value trait, like for sure, from what I've seen from experience. And I'm sure you'd say the same as well.
Definitely, especially now, just to add to that as well, with AI, things are moving, so quick, and you have to be able to execute quickly. I mean, I even remember in the copywriting campus, while we were learning how to use AI and leverage that to our benefit, Andrew also released something where he showed us he launched a complete product, like wrote the funnel, made the product, did that all with AI, launched it and made revenue within like literally a day. And it kind of gave you the perspective there of like, okay, are you going to tell your client, yeah, it's going to be an extra week before I get back to you? It's like, no, you can do things a lot quicker than you think you can if you're managing things effectively. So yeah.
That's a great example. Now, moving on to a bit of a different topic, would you have anything to say for what kind of an impact Tate has had on you?
Yeah, Tate's had a very, very big impact. Definitely. I think the fact that he's come out and he's talked about things that people don't really want to talk about taking complete responsibility, taking complete accountability. I think that's been the biggest thing. Sometimes when things haven't been going your way in life and it's like, oh, it's this person's fault or it's this or I don't feel great. And, you make a lot of excuses, but kind of having someone who will, be open about being a man and be open about, the responsibility of men and taking accountability and not making any excuses, that really had I'd say a big impact on my life and the way that I attacked things.
All right, good to hear. For people who are unsure of whether or not the reward is a scam, for $50 a month, with all the interviews I do every single day, including listening to your story, and yeah, if they're still thinking, I don't know, man, maybe it's a scam, what advice would you have to them?
My advice would be for $50, what else do you spend $50 on? I mean, okay, let's say you thought maybe it is a scam. Just the potential to find out if it's not a scam, if it can change your life, if it can completely change the way you perceive life, if it can completely change your financial situation, would it be worth paying $50, even if there's just a 5% chance? Considering what you probably do spend $50 on a meal with a friend, a few drinks on a night out. So, because that was the well, I never thought it was a scam, but that was the situation I was in where I wasn't sure if I was like, oh, should I pay for it or not? But when I really put it into context, it's a no-brainer.
All right. Great. So very happy with the interview. Dan, if people are interested in finding out more about you, where can they do so?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I think it will be in the description, but it's just Daniel Chiguada, at Daniel Chiguada. I've not been posting as much, but I'm definitely going to start ramping that up soon. So you can follow me there.
Good. And yes, it will be in the description of the video.
Yeah.
So Dan, I look forward to doing a follow-up with you in a few months once things have scaled to see how you're doing. And until then, I wish you all the best.
It was great catching up with you, and thanks for reaching out to me. And yeah, we'll speak soon.